All right, good morning, everybody. Wednesday, October 8th. Time for another Water Cooler Wednesday. I'm Kevin Shortell. I'm joined, as always, by Dwayne Gibbs. Dwayne, good morning.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good. You know what? I recognized this morning that it dawned on me because I don't use an alarm or anything, right? I wake up and I usually gauge by the sunrise, that kind
Mm,
of thing.
mm.
And this morning, I was like, man, it's a little later than I thought. So I'm still in my workout clothes. I had to cut my walk short this morning. And I'm like, oh, we got to change the clocks soon, I bet. It just seems to be sunrise get a little bit later in the morning than it
Oh
used to
yeah,
be. And I'm like, so I looked it up this morning. It's like November
second.
second or third. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, no wonder.
I hate this time of the year, and I know they passed it in the House, but it didn't get passed in the Senate for daylight savings, and
Yeah.
I really thought, Trump talked about he was going to come in and change that, and Robert Kennedy talked about changing that. I'm like, just change it. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody wants the change,
Yeah.
I wish they would. It'd make things so much easier.
Yeah. So the time I got out of the gym and started walking, I was like, oh man,
Sun just started coming up,
I got
didn't?
no, I just know it was already up because I was like, dang man, I gotta get going. I just didn't wake up early enough, I guess, because it was
Mm,
still dark. But anyway,
yeah.
here we are. And so the walks always give me a good chance to think about what I'm going to talk about. A lot of these the social media stuff I do, tip of the day and the water cooler Wednesday and all the other stuff I do. It's usually brought on by just case studies and things on deals that I'm working on with people and thoughts that I have
Hmm.
when I'm out there walking around. And was thinking about one this morning, so I had to go back and look it up in the old archives.
Mm,
One of the popular business models today is for real estate investors to purchase real estate, turn around and sell it with financing, and that's the key. And that's become very, very popular now. Unfortunately, there's still some investors that do that model but don't create good quality notes and don't understand that. And I'm working with a couple of those investors right now that think their note is worth more than it is. Um, Looking at our industry as, well, you guys take too much of a discount. It's like, no, you're not creating a good quality, good resellable note. So we still have that. But thankfully, more real estate investors, and if you're a real estate investor listening and watching this program or jumping on our YouTube channel, that sort of thing, recognize this that you know we are in the real estate business on the note side of things as well. It's just we're on the finance side, so it's the opposite side of the same coin. You got the so-called brick and mortar side, and you've got the finance side, but both sides work together all the time. If you've ever got a loan, I don't care what type of loan, if you've ever got a loan on a piece of real estate, you've been in the finance side of the business. You're just on the paying side. So what we teach is get on the receiving side of that. But there's this blend where real estate investors who recognize the opportunity to offer financing and are smart enough to say, well, I got to learn how to do that the right way because I don't want to end up selling a note at a huge discount. How do I do that?
mm.
The ones who become clients of mine and such, they do learn it the right way. And then they now have a new business model that other people simply can't compete with and wonder how they're able to do all these deals and how they're able to sell the home so quickly and be able to get all the money they need out of the sale when they offer seller financing. And for some reason that's puzzling for a lot of just traditional real estate investors. So if you're a real estate investor and you want to learn how to do this the right way, make sure that you go to kevinshortell.com and you start with a video series and then get on the phone with Dwayne and let's get going. There's a lot of opportunity for that, especially in the lower price band. And lower price band, there's no hardcore definition of that. It's basically it's different in every area, right? What's considered lower price band and San Diego, California is going to be different than lower price band up in Raleigh, North Carolina. I mean, it's different. But what you'll find is across the country, there are good working class neighborhoods, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,800 square foot homes that are still selling for 120, $130,000, which means that real estate investors can buy those things at a discount in those areas, fix them up and resell them. So what about banks? Banks, on the other hand, are not doing loans that are less than 80,000 bucks because they can't make any money. The Dodd-Frank Act restricts how much money a bank can make on a loan origination. And it's
Hmm.
about $80,000 where they're breaking even. So why would they do a break-even loan? If they do a smaller loan than that, they're losing money. So even for them to do $100,000 loan is like, what do we make it? $1,000? Why are we going to go through all of this paperwork, all of this activity for $1,000 on a loan? And it's hard to come up with a valid reason, but other than the government pushes you to say, well, you have to do it. So the combination of that and understanding all those things means that there are big opportunities for good, solid profit margins in the lower price band. And I don't think a lot of people get that. So I was thinking about that, and it's something that we've been teaching people for years and years and years. This is not a new technique. It's just when markets change, these are where these other strategies start to come into play again. So it's not a new business model. It's become more popular again because the market conditions are right, right? Interest rates went up with banks and things like that. They're ignoring the lower price band stuff. So seller financing comes in and starts to become very prevalent in that area. And we've had many times of when that was happening as well. So I reached back into the old presentations. And this one goes back to, I looked it up, 2018. But you'll see, everybody, how relevant it is today. It's just slightly different numbers, but the concept is the same. And this is a student of ours that Dwayne will remember very well. His name is Tim. He's up in Carolinas. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Tim was one of these guys that we trained that he just gets it. He's a deal maker. He's just his natural ability. I mean, Dwayne, you remember that. I mean, he just,
No question.
he knows how to put deals together. He's very creative, has a
Yeah.
lot of different businesses and just just a part of his character, right?
Yes, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, no question.
And he used to go to these local real estate investment clubs and attend and network and that sort of thing. And then people would find out a little bit about what he does. And not many people in his area had even heard about the note business and that sort of thing. Uh, uh, and never heard about combining notes with traditional real estate investing. A lot of people were familiar with. So they asked him to do some presentations on some things, and he put together some very simple case studies on stuff that he was doing and learning from us. And so this one will illustrate it pretty darn well. And I've got people right now. I've got two notes from a guy just last month that is using this same model, just slightly higher prices. Okay, because prices are more expensive today. So here's what this case study looks like here. So this is a manufactured home. There's manufactured homes and mobile homes, and technically the manufactured homes are made in two parts. They come out on a truck, they put them together on a concrete slab. Where mobile homes are on wheels, they're issued a license. They come out, they take off the wheels, take off the tongue, skirt it, that sort of thing. So, um, it's funny on those type of properties. Just initially looking at that, people have reactions. Is there money
Yeah.
in those? Is there not money in those? Who you dealing with? There's various stereotypes with it. I mean, they're prevalent where I am in Florida, right? We've got them all over the place. In Carolinas, where you are,
Yeah, they're everywhere.
all over the place. And there's a lot of money to be made in these. And I've been saying this for a long time, but Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, is the largest creator and purchaser of mobile and manufactured home paper in the world.
Hmm.
And there's a reason he's in that. He's also one of the biggest sellers of manufactured and mobile homes in the world. So why is he doing that? Well, because he knows there's money there, and there's statistics and everything else to back all that stuff up, which I'm not going to get into. But do not ignore this sector of the real estate market. Now, yes, if it's a single wide built in 1963, okay, yeah, it's a tin can. I get it. But the quality, if you just took 2 minutes and researched the quality or type it in AI and see what changes have been made in that industry, I'm telling you, I've seen manufactured homes that were in better condition than old frame houses.
When I first got started, that's what I did. In Fort Myers, I had me and my partner, we had in several communities, 55 and older communities, and also we bought our own. There was a whole park for sale that had 27 mobile homes in it. And so I'm going to tell you, you hear their little ATM machines, they are. Especially if you can get into even if you're not buying mobile home and land and you're in a secured senior 55 and older community to where they're taking care of the property, they're paying on time. It's just it's easy money.
Mhm. Yeah. And the entry price. Now, he purchased this and rehabbed this, and that's the other thing. The rehab cost on these is a lot less than a single family home. It just is. Um, so he purchased this and renovated it for a total of $27,000. And it was on a street that investors could drive by and probably did look at this every day and go, there's no money there. How are you going to sell this thing and make money? Can't get bank financing. If they can't get bank financing, nobody's going to come along and pay cash for it. So why buy it? You're going to buy this thing, renovate it, and then you're going to sit on it unless you want to run it out. Otherwise there's no money. And that was the mentality that all these investors, including the investors at the club that Tim was at. So Tim chose to take that and say, well, I'm going to show you how, not just with a PowerPoint. I'm going to go out and do it and show you all how this works, then come back and show you a case study of it, which is where this came from. And so again, Tim finds this and sees the opportunity where others didn't see it, and that's where, I have used the definition before. I wear these hats, everybody recognizes me from these hats. And I learned the definition of luck a long time ago, and I really wish I have to go back and look up and see who that definition was from. But it said luck is the intersection of opportunity and preparedness.
Mm.
And opportunities out there all the time. And when you get that intersection of opportunity and preparedness, guess what? You get lucky, you know? So that was this person's definition of luck. Well, the thing is, opportunities out there all the time. And this is a classic example of it. This was an opportunity. Most people passed by, drove right by it every single day. This thing sat there. And all these real estate investors just driving right by looking for opportunity. The reality was they weren't prepared. Tim was prepared. Why? He was educated. We were coaching him. We were showing him how this model works. So he was prepared to see that opportunity. So he was the lucky buyer, right, of this property. So he got this for $27,000. Now, Tim does have an advantage perhaps over some of you listening and watching this. Okay, so if you're just listening to this, I kind of described it. It's a manufactured home, good size one, and it's up in the Carolinas. And Tim does have a lot of skills, as I said, and he is a marketing genius. So maybe he has some advantages over you. But let me share his marketing campaign with you real quick here. Okay, there it is. Now, if you can't see this, if you're just listening, he literally has two handwritten signs. Those little, oh gosh, they have a little wire thing, you kind of mash it into the ground with your foot, and it's got the little plastic blank,
For a
these
yard sale.
plain, yeah, plain white sign on there that he just hand wrote For sale by owner and a phone number, no banks needed, $5,000 down. That's his whole grand marketing plan. That's it.
I love it.
And that whole marketing plan would cost you 20 bucks or less. I don't even know what those signs are today. Maybe even less.
Hmm.
But that's all he did. It's all he had to do. And there's actually an attraction with that, with this marketing plan. This does not look sophisticated, and that is not something he was looking for. These are not professionally looking signs. This looks like when someone comes by, it's just, hey, somebody owns this home. They're looking to sell it. They're just like me. They're looking for $5,000 down. No banks needed. I'm going to call them up, see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that was required for him to attract this because, again, not only were real estate investors driving by this every day, passing this up, seeing no opportunity, but so were potential homeowners going, I wonder what's going on there. Wonder what's happening with that one. And now all of a sudden they drive by, they see the sign, he starts getting the phone calls, right? So then it's the qualification process. And he knew, and he had some, let's call it patience with his money. He knew that if he wanted to create a really good quality note, especially with somebody that doesn't have good credit, they're putting down in reality a pretty good down payment. Okay, because he did sell this for $60,000 to them, by the way. So they're putting down 5,000 bucks. Okay, fairly decent, but not a huge. A bank wouldn't look at that as a good down payment. It's not even 10% down, but okay. They're putting some money down. They don't have the greatest credit in the world, but he knew that going in. He's looking at who's the customer that's going to live in this area in this price range. It's probably going to be somebody that's getting into a starter type of home. That means they are in a certain age group, typically a certain income qualification. So he knew he wasn't going to get, somebody that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars and has 20% down and good credit. That's just not who the target market is on this. And that should make sense to everybody. So he identified who his market was. And so along comes this couple and they want to do this. And his initial thought process was to just sell the place with seller financing, hence the $5,000 down. I'll finance the rest for you. And the issue became he did some pre qualification with them. And he felt that he wasn't sure if they'd be able to afford doing it because there's difference then from renting a place and owning a place,
Mm.
right? If you own the place, you got to maintain the place. If you're renting, you call the landlord. I need this fixed. So he's looking at this going, you know what? I don't know that they're ready for full home ownership yet. So what did he do? He shifted techniques. Okay. So he just moved to the side, and something else that we were teaching was, well, do a lease option. Lease it to these folks for a year for about the same payment that they would pay if they purchased it. Get them paying, get them understanding that the payments on time are important. If you pay on time, by the end of the year, you're going to own this place, and I'll finance it for you. But you got to pay the rent on time, and there's an incentive there. And of course, under these programs, under a lease option, you have a different mindset with the tenant. Well, a lot of tenants who are signing month-to-month leases have a completely different mindset about that place that they're living in. They know they're not going to be there forever, and therefore they treat it that way. With this arrangement, you're going to lease it for a year. Show me that you can make it. Take care of the property. Show me you can do that, and then I'll finance it for you after that. And we'll have that all in writing. That motivates people to want to stay and pay and maintain the property, take care of it. They're
Mm.
incentivized for that. And people need that. So, based upon what he saw with the pre-qualification stuff, and he's not an underwriter. There weren't really, I don't even think there were underwriting services around that would do this kind of financing back then.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, today we have called the underwriter and that sort of thing, and they do a great job. But I don't think we even had that back then, 2018. It didn't, I don't think so. So you would basically just qualify people on your own if you were smart. And that's one thing real estate investors today don't do. The ones who create bad notes today, or uh, notes that are going to have a tough resale value. The real estate investors doing that, they are typically selling to the first person that comes around with a down payment target, and that's it. They don't qualify them. They don't do anything else. And it's a rough start, And if your down payment's only 5% down or less than 10% down, your note's already going to be taking a discount. No question, no question about
Yeah,
it.
no question.
And by the way, real estate investors who are thinking at this model, Dodd-Frank technically requires you to do underwriting to do seller financing if you're doing this as a business. Today, we do have services that will do that underwriting. It costs about $700, but guess what? The borrower pays for that, and it's just a smart thing to do. Back here in this example, they didn't have that, but that's fine. But we had trained Tim good enough where he said, okay, I got to shift techniques here because I don't think they're ready for flat out home ownership just yet. And I know if I go to resell that note, I might be penalized for that. So let me go ahead and set these people up for success versus setting them up for failure.
Hmm.
So let's get them in a lease program. And they performed. They paid the $500 per month rent on this like clockwork. So the arrangement is pretty simple here. I'll put it on the screen. He sold the place to them for $59,900. So we're going to agree upon the price is $59,900. You're going to put $5,000 down under a lease purchase option money. Okay, it's a lease option. I call it a lease purchase because he is agreeing to sell it to them at the end. Okay, it wasn't really an option, it was a lease purchase agreement. So give me $5,000. I'll credit that towards the sales price. Okay, lease it, I'm sorry, for $550 per month. And then after the 12 months, and again, assuming you've made the payments on time and assuming that you've maintained the property, I'll go ahead and finance it automatically for you, giving you credit for the $5,000. It's going to be $54,000 is what the note mortgage will be. And then the other thing he did was he kept the payments about the same. Now, again, we had planned that ahead of time. That's one of the things I told him. I said, keep the rent about the same what the note's going to be. So we already pre-calculated what the note would be and then made that the rent payments, by the way. So $54,000 note, instead of for 30 years, I did it for 15 years. That shortens, obviously, the term of the loan, which also increases the amount of the monthly payment and also decreases the future value of that income stream, meaning the present value is higher as well. So again, that's a smart thing to do rather than stretch it out for 30 years and really lower those payments unnecessarily low. You're hurting yourself with that note. Here, he's going to say, you guys can afford $550. You've been doing it for a year. Okay, so we're going to make this a 180-month loan. You'll own this property free and clear in 15 years. Okay, now they did that at 9%. 9% is higher than bank rates now. It was way higher than bank rates back in 2018. But when you have new home buyers looking for a first time home, they're looking for, can I afford the monthly payment? It's not what interest rate, what terms, how many points am I making? Is there a buy down? No. There's none of that. It's how much is my monthly payment? And they're less concerned about the 9%. Okay, so he did $54,000, 180 months, 9%. The payment comes out to $547, which is right about what they've already proved that they can afford for the past year under the lease agreement. But now they'll own this place in 15 years if they just continue to stay and pay on that. Now, could they refinance and get a lower price bank loan, something like that down the road as the property value goes up and their balance goes down? Sure. Absolutely, they could if they wanted to do that. Could they all of a sudden they're making more money? Could they contribute another $200 a month to the loan and pay the thing off in 7 years, 8 years. Sure, they might do that as well. So this was a way for them to get into a home, um, being set up, as I said, for success, not for failure. Setting somebody up for failure is, all right, give me $500 down. We'll create a $58,000 note. Your payments are $700 a month, and you know that they, after their expenses and everything, $700 a month, they can't afford it, and 6 months down the road, you're kicking them out of there trying to foreclose. That's setting people up for failure, and we've seen that happen before too, Dwayne. Yes,
Absolutely.
and it's foolish. It's absolutely foolish because that kind of stuff will cost you more money in the long run than doing it the right way and setting people up the right way. So Tim put the deal together, and of course, this became a case study that he was able to use at these clubs that asked him to come and speak. And for the naysayers who said, there's no money in that small price band stuff, he's like, really? Let me show you one here. So breakdown again, Tim's all in for $27,000. He got $5,000. Should probably do this on a calculator, huh? Let's see. Let's clear that out. So he had $27,000 all in. I'm going to leave out his marketing budget. 20 bucks. Yeah. So $27,000. He got $5,000 back on the get-go. So he's in the thing now for 22. All right. And then he got what, 6,000, let's see, 550 a month times 12. He's got 6,600 back over the course of the year. So 22,000 is where he was from the start, minus 66
Yep.
grid. So he's got $15,400 still in the deal. This is Tim,
After a year.
right after a year. Correct. Thank you. $15,400. Okay. Now, just in that, has his risk gone down? Well, of course. His initial risk was he's in this thing for 27,000 bucks. Now he's in it for 15,400. So his risk has already gone down quite substantially in this transaction. And guess what? It's going to continue to go down every single month. Why? Because they're making these monthly payments, part of which are principal, part of which is interest, of course, and he's being paid back. So his money all in is dropping further from that. Now, to do this the right way, I would go to the amortization schedule and I would take out how much of the money was going towards principal, how much was going to interest. But we can shortcut that and just say this. If you've ever paid on a mortgage, you know that the bulk of your monthly payment, especially in the beginning, in that first year, it's almost all going towards interest. Very little principal payment on this. And so that's important as a note investor because you're getting paid back your capital, right? But you're also making all of this interest, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is 9% is what the borrower is paying on this loan. But if you think about it this way, Tim only has $15,400 in this deal. That's his present value, right? The rest he created with the paper. What is he being paid back? He's being paid back $547 per month over 180 months. So if we were to go back and recalculate this, for those who are listening, I'm doing this on the calculator. If your present value is $15,400, that's what you've got in. You're getting $547 per month back for 180 months. Even though the borrower is paying a coupon rate of 9% on the 54,000, you don't have 54,000 out of your pocket. You got 15,400. So Tim's annualized rate of return on this little $27,000 deal is 42.5% per year.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
On a little $27,000 property that all these investors passed up every day because there's no money in it.
Hmm.
If Tim wanted to, Instead of that making that annualized return, he could turn around and sell that note. Okay, he's got a $54,000 note. He's got it written at 9% interest. If he wanted to cash out instead of getting that return, he certainly could do that. Let's say he was able to sell that at 11% yield. Now, some note investors are going to look at that rent as seasoning. Even though it wasn't seasoning on a note, it's proof that, hey, for a year, they've been able to make it. They've been able to make the payment. Here's proof of it. And Tim would show proof of that. Yes, it's slightly different because now they own, now they have to maintain. But the way the lease purchase was written, they had to maintain the property up to a certain point anyway. Okay. So a seasoned investor like me in a situation like this would absolutely consider that $500 a month as proof of the ability to pay. So I wouldn't discount the note greatly. So if I came in 11% on that, he could cash out $48,000 on that note sale. So Tim's in control. He's got two options. If he takes the 48,128 and then takes out his, what was it, 15.6?
Mm-hmm.
15,600 bucks that he still got in the deal. He's got a net profit there of 32 grand. 32,526 bucks. Profit on the deal he bought for 27, by the way. Okay. Or he takes what? $547 a month. Or maybe he takes $547 a month for a year and then sells the note. A lot of different things that he could do. Maybe instead he just says, I'll sell 90 payments of this deal to another investor. So I'll get 33,000 bucks lump sum. The other investor gets 90 payments of 547, and then I get the other 90 payments or sell those later on. Point being, Tim's in complete control of the deal. It's just a matter of how he wants to make his money. Does he want passive monthly income? Does he want lump sum or some combination thereof?
What he did was he set himself up for success on this deal because he wrote a good buyable deal on the secondary market when he decided to sell it. As you said, seasoning on it, down payment, interest rate. And so, he didn't write it on a wink and nod and a handshake and let somebody get in it for nothing. He created good paper to go ahead and sell in the future to where he would be able to make, as you saw, 47% return on his money.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
What is it? You know, people say that for you, that's crazy. If I laid it out that's just the way I did and showed you, you totally get why you got made that kind of money. It's not pie in the sky. That's pure math that I put on the screen there for you. So, really, really cool stuff that you can do when you understand to do it the right way. So kevinshortell.com. Don't forget it's SHRTLE.com. We've still got the free video series, everybody. Why are we still doing the free video series, Dwayne?
Because it's free. It's good. I mean, they're able to go in, watch these four series that you put together. It's like you being in their shirt pocket, going through, unrolling a deal, letting them see how it's really done, how you do it with them when they work with you one on one, and it's free. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a good series. It's really good, and people are enjoying it, and we appreciate the feedback
Absolutely.
on it. And it. I don't know. There's stuff in there. You'll get more information than most people's one day or half day training.
No
Because it's
question.
right to the point and show you all the math and everything else. And hopefully that motivates you to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can do this better. In fact, I did a podcast for somebody the other day, Dwayne, and they're real estate investors. And it was supposed to be a 30-minute podcast. I think we went almost 50 minutes because she kept going like, so wait a minute, and she goes, I'm really got to go back and rethink my real estate strategies.
Yeah.
She goes,
Yeah.
she goes, you're just telling me stuff I've never heard, and I got to figure this out.
Well, it's experience. I mean, you've
Yeah,
been doing it for so long, and you do it every day. It's not like you just do it on the weekends. You're doing this every single day.
yeah,
Big difference.
you got it. Very good. I like that one.
Yeah. So, Tim,
Yeah. Yeah, a good guy. And of course, Tim's gone on and done all kinds of stuff in the business. But awesome. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And any questions, of course, go to the website, reach out to us, jump on the phone with you, and get you going in the business. Because there was nothing in this case study, nothing in there that anyone,
Anybody couldn't do.
I mean, uh, even if you didn't have the $27,000, but you knew somebody who did, you could do this. You could have done that deal. So it's not the difficulty of it. It's just the knowledge of how to lay that all out. So there you go. All right, Dwayne, thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you soon. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and share it with a friend. So if you are in one of those real estate investment clubs I was referring to, let them know. Turn them on to the YouTube channel. Check out the podcast where I rebroadcast this as well. Podcast is named after my book, Real Estate Without Renters. So check that out also. And look forward to talking to you guys again next week.
See ya.